Today's story is not just another trade rumor or off-season headline. It's a decision that shook Major League Baseball to its core. A superstar said no to more money, no to power, and no to a franchise desperate for salvation, all for one reason. Because sometimes championships matter more than contracts. Sometimes culture matters more than numbers. And sometimes a single player can change the direction of an entire league. Tonight, we break down the shocking 4-for-1 blockbuster that stunned MLB. Why one ace chose Shohei Ohtani over everyone else. And how a franchise in crisis may have just lost control of its future. Let's get into the story that everyone is talking about. The Dodgers' next goal is to win their third championship and defend their title. To that end, the team is keenly interested in strengthening their lineup with both Diaz and Gaia. Shortly after signing powerful closer Diaz, the Dodgers announced shocking news. They are seeking to acquire Skubal to strengthen their six-man starting rotation. Today, the shocking trade was officially announced. Skubal rejected the Reds' allowance offer and signed an 8-year contract with the Dodgers. The 4-for-1 trade shocked MLB, and even the Dodgers players were shocked. In an interview, Skubal explained the reason for the shock. "I'd rather play baseball with Shohei than with anyone else." The Mets are currently in a crisis with no clear way out, with internal conflicts surfacing and forcing the team into a tailspin. According to sources, owner Steve Park is seriously considering trading Francisco Lindor. The underlying cause of this decision, which could shake the entire team, is believed to be the intensifying internal conflicts surrounding Hayashi. As the clubhouse leader, Leader frequently expressed dissatisfaction with the preferential treatment he received from the outsider, including his lack of speaking ability, tactical influence, and lack of accountability even after solid performances. Meanwhile, Leader viewed him as the biggest obstacle to his own status as the team's #1 star, and the conflict escalated from a covert to an open internal conflict. The two had a heated exchange after a game, and when Lindor criticized Leader for shifting responsibility to the outsider, Leader reportedly dismissed him and denied his leadership. Amid this public backlash, Park reportedly chose to play defensively against Leader. Criticism of Leader gradually led to a decision to treat him as a trade factor for a rebuild rather than a clear restoration. If this trade were to go through, the Tigers would not only lose a key player, but would also officially acknowledge that their internal crisis was out of control. Skubal's agent, Scott Boras, revealed a notable fact amid the Tigers' serious crisis. According to Boras, Steve Park had taken a special interest in Skubal and considered him a key piece in their rebuilding plan. Park didn't just shy away from a simple offer, he even considered including Lindor in a trade package to acquire Skubal. This was a bold move, demonstrating the owner's assertive stance. According to sources, Park arranged a confidential meeting with Skubal, conducting the negotiations in a calculated atmosphere. There, Park explained his new vision for rebuilding the team around star players, highlighting a plan to make Skubal a central figure at the time. He also emphasized that he would use Skubal as a long-term pillar, fully guarantee his status in the clubhouse through condition management tactics. Additionally, a stipulation was offered that any star player would be allowed to waiver. However, Park's plans quickly fell apart. Just 2 hours after the staircase, Skubal rejected the Mets. He didn't offer specific reasons, simply stating that it wasn't a good fit for him, particularly the team culture. His poignant response was a major blow, highlighting the fundamental issues at stake, not just performance and finances, but the erosion of trust and identity. Immediately after Skubal rejected the Mets, the situation rapidly shifted in a different direction. Dodgers President of Operations Andrew Freeman announced the official completion of Skubal's contract within a short time frame. The Dodgers signed Skubal to an 8-year, $400 million contract, clearly indicating that they view him as a valuable asset for the future. Freeman revealed that the trade was far from simple, and unexpected changes in the negotiations with the Tigers prolonged the process. The Dodgers initially offered a relatively modest package, offering 1 young player and 1 top prospect. The package included Emmett Sheehan and promising pitcher Zy Heerhope. The Tigers were close to reaching an agreement, and the deal appeared close to being finalized. However, in the final stages, the Tigers suddenly demanded a minimum contract and added a true ace pitcher. This condition temporarily halted negotiations, forcing the Dodgers to issue a full bond. Freeman revealed that they were ultimately forced to include Glasnow in the trade to acquire Skubal. While this was a steep price, it was essential to acquire one of MLB's leading ace pitchers. After the Dodgers officially announced their signing with Skubal, media outlets quickly conducted exclusive interviews to explore the reasons behind the decision. Skubal was forthright and forthcoming, stating that the Dodgers were his true desire and not merely a potential replacement in the market. According to Skubal, what initially attracted him was the Dodgers' player development system. He particularly cited the farm system that rejuvenated Sasaki's career, calling it a clear testament to the team's expertise and long-term vision. However, what really sealed the deal was Yoshinobu Yamamoto's physical conditioning and pitching approach. Skubal has undergone Tommy John surgery and is extremely careful about protecting his shoulders and elbows. Skubal was impressed by how Yamamoto maintains strength, self-sufficiency, and peak performance without excessive weight training. He was also very interested in the training methods of the Eastern Division, which is similar to the javelin throw, and wanted to experience them firsthand in the Dodgers' environment. Skubal also mentioned his personal ambitions to compete in the Kanto region in the postseason and even pitch consecutively if the team requires it. Skubal stated that he wanted to aim for the championship with this team, demonstrating his determination that went beyond individual performance. When asked why he chose the Reds, Skubal stated that he felt he didn't fit in with the team culture. Meanwhile, the Dodgers had a sense of unity, with star players pulling in the same direction. Skubal said that this culture is the foundation for the Dodgers' continued strength and success at the pinnacle of MLB. Scott Boras then revealed a surprising fact. In fact, the Reds had offered better financial terms than the Dodgers in the bidding war for Skubal. According to Boras, Steve Park had expressed a strong desire to make Skubal a central part of their rebuilding plan, offering a market-beating long-term contract with generous annual guarantees. Furthermore, the Mets had promised him a greater leadership role in the pitching schedule and recovery program. However, despite the impressive numbers on the negotiating table, Skubal remained committed to his choice. Boras said his decision was based not on money, but on his belief in the long-term development environment. Skubal felt the Dodgers were the team with the expertise that best matched his physical abilities and personal ambitions. He credited the team with a strong sports science team culture, and a stable, cohesive team with a clear path to victory was more important than any other consideration. Boras said that turning down a big offer from the Reds to choose the Dodgers signals a shift in the values of top stars. A championship ring and the right environment can sometimes be worth more than money. In fact, every plan for the Dodgers is premised on Skubal extending his contract. The initiative is entirely in his hands. If he wins the Most Valuable Player award for a second consecutive year, the only thing Skubal has left at stake will be a championship ring. He will likely be extremely careful about balancing money and rings. The Mets are financially viable, but their championship contention is extremely difficult. Whether the Mets can acquire Skubal or not won't significantly change the current situation. The Mets are likely to make another big purchase. Even if Skubal signs with the Mets, they would likely consider reneging on his contract in a few years to avoid stumbling with a weak team. It is an unavoidable reality that if a team is weak, the contract terms will be less favorable. From an objective standpoint, this situation represents far more than a single blockbuster trade or a star pitcher choosing one destination over another. It reflects a broader shift in how elite players evaluate their careers, how franchises manage internal stability, and how organizational culture has become just as decisive as financial power. The Dodgers' pursuit of a third championship and a successful title defense is rooted in a clear, long-term vision. Rather than relying solely on short-term star acquisitions, the organization continues to prioritize structural strength, player development, sports science, rotation depth, and clubhouse cohesion. The decision to aggressively target Skubal after already strengthening the bullpen and lineup demonstrates a front office that views dominance not as a moment, but as a sustained process. Skubal's choice is particularly revealing. On paper, rejecting richer offers and expanded authority from other franchises may appear counterintuitive. However, his explanation points to a deeper calculation. For a pitcher with a history of major surgery, longevity, workload management, and technical refinement are not secondary concerns, they are central to career survival. The Dodgers' reputation for protecting arms, optimizing mechanics, and extending elite performance windows carries real weight among pitchers across the league. Equally important is the human element. Skubal's public admission that he wanted to play alongside Shohei Ohtani speaks to something money cannot replicate. Ohtani has become more than a generational talent. He is a gravitational force that reshapes how players perceive opportunity, professionalism, and competitive purpose. For many athletes, proximity to greatness and the standards it demands has become a powerful motivator. In contrast, the turmoil surrounding the Mets highlights the cost of unresolved internal conflict. No matter how strong a roster may look on paper, fractures within leadership structures can quickly undermine performance and credibility. Reports of tension between star players, unclear accountability, and uneven authority suggest an organization struggling to define its identity. When that uncertainty becomes visible to players outside the clubhouse, it directly impacts recruitment and retention. The possibility of a franchise icon being considered a trade asset is not merely a baseball decision, it is an admission that internal cohesion has failed. Once leadership credibility erodes, even aggressive rebuilding pitches lose their persuasive power. Skubal's rejection, particularly his reference to team culture, underscores that elite players are increasingly unwilling to gamble their prime years on unstable environments. From the Tigers' perspective, the trade outcome is equally sobering. Losing a premier arm while navigating internal uncertainty signals a pivotal crossroads. While the return package may provide future assets, it also confirms that control over the narrative has shifted away from the organization. When negotiations escalate to the point of including cornerstone players under pressure, it suggests urgency rather than leverage. What stands out most is the broader trend this case represents. For years, financial muscle was assumed to be the decisive factor in landing top talent. That assumption no longer holds absolute power. Players at the highest level now weigh development ecosystems, medical infrastructure, leadership clarity, and championship probability with equal, if not greater, importance. The Dodgers' ability to close this deal, even at a significant cost, reinforces their status as a model organization in the modern MLB landscape. They did not simply outbid competitors, they outpresented them. They offered a vision that aligned with Skubal's physical needs, professional ambitions, and competitive mindset. Ultimately, this move strengthens the Dodgers not only on the field, but also in perception. It sends a clear message across the league. This is a destination where stars are protected, empowered, and given a legitimate path to legacy. For a player chasing not just earnings, but meaning, that message is decisive. In the end, this was not a rejection of money, nor a dismissal of opportunity elsewhere. It was a calculated choice, one that reflects where modern baseball is heading. Championships, culture, and trust have become the new currency of the league. And in this moment, the Dodgers prove they understand that reality better than anyone else. And this is why this story matters far beyond a single trade or one superstar's decision. What we are witnessing is a quiet but powerful transformation in Major League Baseball, where culture outweighs cash, where vision beats desperation, and where championships are built long before the first pitch is thrown. The Dodgers didn't just acquire an ace, they reinforced an identity. The Mets didn't just lose a target. They were forced to confront questions that no contract can answer. As the season unfolds, the real impact of this decision will reveal itself on the mound, in the clubhouse, and across the league. Who rises, who fractures, and who truly understands what it takes to win in today's MLB will soon become impossible to ignore. If you want sharp analysis, real context, and stories that go deeper than headlines, this is the place for you. Stay with us, subscribe, and come back, because the next chapter in this baseball power shift is only just beginning.